Wall Street has been developing a steady rally. Investors cheer positive updates on a potential COVID-19 vaccine. Investors are keeping close tabs on quarterly financial reports from U.S. companies and industrial production data for June. Besides, Fed officials are expected to shed light on further stimulus programs. The U.S. currency has been extending weakness. Traders speculating on the Canadian dollar are evaluating policy statements from the Bank of Canada. Futures on the benchmark U.S. stock indices were trading firmly higher in the early New York session. The overall growth is measured at about 2%. Futures on the Dow Jones rose 2.02% to trade at 27,026 points. The S&P 500 gained 1.4% to trade at 3,229.62. The optimistic news on the vaccine front offsets the negative background amid a record surge in the coronavirus cases in the U.S. Investors pin hopes that the global economy is on the path to a recovery and the pandemic will be stamped out in the near future. Today, traders are alert to a report on the U.S. industrial production and the Beige Book released by the Federal Reserve. The U.S. industry expanded 5.4% in June month-on-month, much stronger than the forecast for a 4.3% growth. Nevertheless, the U.S. dollar did not rebound in response. The greenback has been weighed down by growing appetite for risk, so investors are putting safe haven assets on the back burner. Meanwhile, the pandemic situation in the U.S. defies the optimistic scenario. New lockdown measures could stall economic growth that will be mirrored in further macroeconomic data. The U.S. dollar index slipped from the level of 96.30 and escaped from a narrow trading range. On Wednesday, it is carrying on with its nosedive. The index is now trading at about 95.80. The Canadian dollar recovered from a two-week low despite extension of the traveling ban between the US and Canada. The US dollar versus the Canadian dollar pair is trading lower ahead of the announcement on interest rates by the Bank of Canada. The pair settled down at 1.3560. As expected, the regulator maintained monetary policy settings unchanged. Market participants are speculating on Canada's economic prospects and the regulator's plans on extra stimulus. The Bank of Canada could allow the scenario of negative interest rates and expand its QE program in case the coronavirus tightens its grip. Under such conditions, the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar pair will reverse upwards. Another reason behind the loonie's weakness is a downward correction of oil prices. Market sentiment will greatly depend on the OPEC's decision. The cartel and its allies will decide on whether to extend or ease output cuts beyond July. That's all for now. Thank you for watching and see you back tomorrow.